Hi everyone, I'm back with another video. And in today's video, we'll be going over some of the tactics that you can use to have heroes fast, alright, and use the heroes to your advantage. And of course, how to use them throughout the battle. Alright, so of course, before we start, go on ahead, smash the like button, and of course, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification to all notifications so that you will not miss an upload or stream from my channel. Let's go. Here goes. Alright, and so we get to see a shipyard and prototype facility right off the bat for us to have Caimans and the Wasp. Okay, then collecting the containers, using gold common production so that we can speed up the process of producing a Caiman and the Wasp at the same time. Meanwhile, we'll have the Riflemen and the Coyote deal with the ground forces of the of the Confederation or the Green Player right in this battle. Okay, and then we're going to produce the Wasp. Okay. For some reason it got cancelled. Maybe a bug. We're not sure. Alright, we're gonna have to somehow... There goes. Capture that container right above the cliff right there. Okay, and now the command here is to, of course, gather the containers. Now, of course, this is a new map called No Trace. As you guys can see, it is similar to Water Barrier, but a lot more room for land army compositions, or a lot more ground pounding. Now, we get to see that in action right here, as we see a fortress right there, and a Coyote. Of course, I'm going to have to retreat. There goes. And, of course, one Coyote is to gather the container right there, so that, of course, it cannot be contested with infantries alone. Okay, the Wasp is already out. We get to add a supply center and of course a power plant. Now as we gather containers, we add more supply centers right after the power plant finishes to supply more power. There goes. And of course I will have my partner deal with that big container on his side so that of course he may get a chance to develop his base too. Okay. Nothing crazy. We get a look at my partner's base. Okay. Now we're going to move out and cause some trouble right after collecting that container. Okay. Using a gold supply boost, of course, amongst all this. And we're going to attack the green player in the hopes of the green player overreacting into producing a ton of units instead of the resources being used to develop the base. And that's exactly what the green player did. So he played according to my plan. There goes. The Wasp using the acid strike on clumped up units to of course weaken them up and of course maximize the skill of the Wasp itself. Hitting multiple targets is always a must. There goes. We also get to have the Wasp move around so that the machine guns of those infantries and fortresses has more chances of not hitting the Wasp without the passive ability being active at all. There goes. And of course, micro back and forth, keeping the units alive, but in this case, both the Coyotes has super low health, so they're going to get destroyed. But that's entirely normal, so we're gonna have to use the Wasp instead and be as annoying as humanly possible, and of course, destroy enemy units in the process. So of course, this player right here will have no choice but to somehow produce some units instead of the resources being used to defend the base, or of course develop the base further, giving me an advantage, therefore out developing the player in front of me. There goes. And so as you guys can see, I've already developed my base to HQ3 and are going to prototype factory level 2. Now the enemy has level 2 HQ and still are producing a Cerberus and a hammer, or at least that's what it looks like, or a fortress even. Okay, we get to see a naval platform from the blue player. Okay, that's actually normal, and the blue player is doing better than the green player at this moment due to my Wasp, and somehow having the enemy overreact to my initial attack, which was not an all-in. Okay, I was not planning to attack or rush attack him. I just attacked him to cause panic. There goes. And of course, upgrading my shipyard to have alligators, of course, because if I cleaned up the green player, my land army composition cannot transfer over, or of course, transport or travel across the map over to the other side. So at that point, I'm going to have alligators. Now again, the Wasp is still trying to be annoying here, as to somehow have the green player busy in terms of dealing with my Wasp. Now we see my partner here being attacked. Okay, and there's not really that much that I can do about it, but he's gonna have to defend on it on his own. Since I cannot have my land army composition travel across the map to over to his side, and my Wasp is purely out of position. Now we get to see Cerberus in action here, trying to repel the Wasp, and while my Wasp is destroying the AVF factory. But of course, we're not going to stop there. We're just going to move around and maximize the mobility of the Wasp itself, being able to turn around while firing on the move. There goes. And of course, again, if you face Cerberus rocket-based projectiles, just move sideways so that of course you have chances of evading the attack itself. Unlike the machine guns, rockets are slower than that of the machine gun's ammo. Now we get to see the Wasp, the Cerberus there. I'm completely ignoring the Cerberus, and I'm targeting that AVF factory, for that AVF factory has the potential to somehow annoy me or contest my Wasp with the Cyclones. Now we get to see my Wasp here having low health, so we're going to have to use another boost to somehow recover the HP. There goes, moving sideways, making my Wasp be able to somehow avoid or evade those missiles. Using a recovery boost somehow helps in terms of having the Wasp recover HP. Meanwhile, I have another detachment here to somehow attack the green player, yet again, while the green player is somehow thinking that I'm going to attack with the Wasp again. Now let's see here. I'm going to attack on the land using the mole and a jaguar and a porcupine to somehow occupy the forces in terms of defending what's attacking in front of them. To keep them busy, of course. There goes. And now deploying the turrets. The Cerberus is already out here, meaning there's no defenses at the back of the base of this green player. There goes, my Wasp will now try and come in again. And as you guys can see, the Wasp already has more than half HP thanks to the gold recovery boost. Okay, and we get to see the mole in action here. Since the Cerberus is already within the range of the drill, why not use it? Right? Why not use it? So there goes. And the Wasp again is uncontested, dealing some damage there and trying to be annoying as humanly possible, while there's actually an attack in front of the base of this green player. And we're gonna have to use the turrets wisely, of course. There goes, and the AVF factory is being built again from the green player to somehow have Cyclones into the mix to somehow zone out my Wasp. Okay. Also, maintaining the units within the healing radius or repair radius of the mole is actually quite helpful, since it will help your units survive more often because of the repair being active while it is under attack. There goes. And we get to take out that vehicle factory to of course lessen the resistance that this green player can do against my attack, limiting his options to just infantries or just spamming bunkers. And of course, waiting for the hero. There goes. And of course, since there's no whatsoever units here to contest, I'm going to use the mole itself to somehow drill that HQ, since the mole's drill is actually doing tremendous amount, or can actually deal a tremendous amount of damage on buildings alone. And so of course, deploying the turrets right in front of that X facility of the enemy to somehow deal with that Cerberus as it pops out. Now the Cerberus launched a skill. We're gonna have to move our Jaguar away, of course. There goes. Keeping the Jaguar alive. Meanwhile, again, my Wasp is still dealing some damage at the back of the base of this enemy. So yeah, without an HQ, there is nothing that this green player can do, aside from build or produce units that are already, limited number of units due to the skill point, or skill cards that he has. Skill rank. There goes. My partner is making a good attack right there, a counter attack or so, to the blue player. Meanwhile, I'm just going to clean up the rest of this green player's base, and I'm not overcommitting to land army composition, since of course that will be a total waste of resources if you do so. Since of course, again, the land army composition of the resistance cannot travel across the map onto the other side to help my partner. So instead, I'm going for hawks, as can be seen right there. Mole of my partner is doing pretty good as well, utilizing the turrets and of course the drill in terms of destroying the buildings. Production buildings rather. The barracks right there. Okay. Limiting the blue player of producing units to just hammers and of course the heroes or some deltas. There will be no more infantries or heavy assaults at this point. Excuse me. And so, I instructed my partner to charge in order to end the battle. And as you guys can see, Wasp can clearly change the tide of battle by just causing some panic. And of course, your enemy just has to make typhoons because of course special vehicle factories are available at HQ too. So once you have a typhoon, 1 or 2 typhoons can completely zone out the Wasp. There goes. My partner doing very good here, cleaning up the blue player's base as we speak. And of course, since the Wasp is an AVO unit, I'm going to have it travel across the map onto the other side in order to help out my partner, using an acid strike right there so that the turrets will have an easier time destroying that supply center. And then of course moving away outside the range of that anti-air to keep the Wasp alive. And keep in mind with micro control that you also need to practice in order for your heroes not to perish as much as possible. I mean, your heroes can always recover HP, but of course, if you keep them alive, you manage to always save resources and make the most out of your hero. There goes. GG. Okay, now we move on to the Confederation side on how to use Cerberus and Seraphim. Okay, so let's jump straight into it. Okay, now I'm going to be the blue player and my partner will be the green player. Okay, now we're going to use Rush Cerberus for this battle alone. Okay, so emergency measure boost, build a supply center, a power plant, and of course use construction boost and upgrade your HQ so that you can get the shipyard out. Alright, and of course produce a fortress so that you can contest your enemy into getting the huge container. Now this is the same faction battle, but this also applies, or this also works great versus resistance. Alright, and so Delta is already out. Okay, so we need to gather more containers in order for us to have the Cerberus. There goes, gathering the container above the cliff behind my base. Okay, now nothing crazy so far. There goes, and we're now going to produce the Cerberus, as can be seen right there, and I'm using a common production boost to of course boost or of course lessen the time that it takes to produce all types of units. Now we get to see an action right there. Okay, more on the middle top side of the map, and the container as can be seen right there will spawn at the top, and second super container will spawn at the bottom. Alright, now we see Cerberus over here, and we're going to use the Cerberus to of course help us get that container. My partner doing very good, capturing the containers right there. I'm also doing the same thing on the ocean. We get to see my partner's base right there. Okay. And we get to destroy that fortress, and a Delta is already here, and we're gonna have to zone that out using the Cerberus alone. Oop, messed up right there. Okay, down goes the Delta. And of course, we're going to collect that super container since we require it, or it is actually required for us to do that, since we spent a ton of resources invested into the hero, making our base development, quite slow. So we need that super container to make up for it. And then we're going to use the Cerberus to attack. Now we get to see my partner's base yet again, developing quite nicely. Okay, he did not manage to get that super container, but that's totally fine. Okay. There goes. And as you guys can see, I'm adding a supply center. And then I'll add more once I get that super container. And then I'll jump straight into the enemy's base. As you guys can see right here, he's trying to develop his base, but we're going to use the Cerberus in order to annoy him. And of course cause him panic into producing units instead of having him develop his base. giving us an advantage overall. Okay, keep in mind that I only spent 700 resources for the factory to produce the hero and the Cerberus alone, so we get to see how much will it take for the enemy to repel Cerberus alone. Okay, we get to see a Delta and a Fortress plus 2 assaults or 3 assaults. Okay, we're going to use the Cerberus wisely, have them attack the Cerberus, use the skill while they're clamped up. Okay, there goes. Bam. Okay. Alright, so there's actually one more Delta now. Okay, and we're going to destroy that Fortress. Here it goes. And of course, attack the Delta. Now, before the shield runs out, we're gonna have to retreat. Okay. And retreat before he ends up dead. Now again, complete micro or better micro control skill is required to do this. So you better practice in order for you to do this. Okay. Now an assault yet again, using gold recovery boost to of course recover the HP of the Cerberus, and of course wait for the passive to cool down in order for you to jump straight in again. So the Cerberus will not end up dying, just like the rest of other infantries. Okay, we get to see a scout on the orange player. Okay. Nice scout, by the way. So he's going for a full navy, 2 shipyard, level 2 vehicle factory for hammers, and are producing or building a rocket tower. Meanwhile, I'm going HQ 3 and level 2 shipyard. And as you guys can see, that the investment I made for the Cerberus is clearly working, since the purple player still has HQ 2 and are producing units to somehow repel my Cerberus, which he can't. As you guys can see right here. Ta-da! Killed all the initial units. So that makes my Cerberus rush very, very successful. Since I've already outdeveloped this guy in terms of my base development. See there? I don't know how many deltas that is now, but that's certainly going to fail. And the shield already activated yet again because the passive already cooled down. And we're going to retreat yet again before the shield runs out, so that of course we can maintain our Cerberus or keep him alive and gaining the most out of the value spent on my Cerberus. Okay, we get to see the bases of all players right there, and I'm going for Seraphim right as we speak and a Viking. Okay, adding a supply center. Okay. Ho ho ho. Now there's actually more units now, 2 hammers and 2 deltas, so we're no longer going to use our Cerberus to do that. So we're going to have our Cerberus retreat in order to gain more HP, or recover more HP rather. Okay, we're going to add more shipyard to of course have more Vikings. Alright, so this purple player decided to, or actually orange player decided to scout my base, which is actually not bad. Okay, it's not bad at all. My partner is actually going up that, going to capture that super container, and the Poseidon is already present from the orange player. Okay, what makes this super container interesting is that you fight for your base development, or for you to gain a resource advantage instead of just sitting in the base doing nothing. You know, the gameplay gets to be more diverse and more action-packed. More of like an RTS, which I like the most. Yep, there goes, collecting that container right there, so nothing can contest that Cerberus. Of course, Seraphim is also going to help out collect that container. There goes. And pretty much the enemy can't do anything. Okay, so, ooh. Okay, scout right there. Of course, they see a Seraphim and a Cerberus right there. And we get to somehow try and see if we can do, or we can deal damage using both heroes. Okay, naval platform. Okay, Poseidon is attacking the naval platform. It's actually quite nice of the orange player. Great maneuver there as to somehow have a base crawling naval platform right there, closer to my partner's base. Very good move. Okay, we get to somehow be annoying here as to destroy some infantries. There goes. Using common attack boost to somehow increase the attack range of the Seraphim and Cerberus. Since both are different types of units, so using common attack boost is going to be nice. Now, I've used the Cerberus skill to jump away. Okay, the skill of the Cerberus is not only to move in, but you can also use it to escape, making it a very good skill. Okay, again, gold recovery boost to, of course, recover the HP of the Cerberus, keeping it alive, to maximize its value. Okay, we get to see some naval action from my partner. Okay, Viking, Poseidon, very nice. Alright, now I'm making a good line of Vikings right there. I'm preparing for an attack on the Navy on the purple player's base. Since we've caused a lot of early damage onto the purple player's base, we get to somehow, you know, like, outdevelop him. Now, of course, due to that matter, I have Navy, I have less underground, and that's completely normal. Hence, I'm going to try and somehow, again, micro-control my units in order to win this bout right here. Okay, so we're gonna have to deal with those typhoons, since of course that zone out my that can actually zone out my Seraphim's air mode. Okay, there goes. Getting rid of the Zeus as much as I can, because those hammers are easier to deal with than that of the Zeus. Okay, a Cerberus fall, but that's alright. He completely took out 2 Zeus, or actually 3, and a Typhoon, so I'd say that's a better trade. Okay, and of course, Seraphim can fire on the move even on land mode, so we can actually utilize that into our advantage. Oh, very nice move here from my partner, getting rid of that naval platform before it becomes dangerous. Okay, there goes. Nice job. Okay, now I get to attack the purple player's base right here. Given the amount of Vikings, 3 naval platforms ain't gonna stop it. There goes. And of course, this also gets rid of the anti-air capability of the purple player, making my Seraphim move with much more versatility. There goes. Okay, now I was successful in terms of destroying the defense on the ocean on the purple player. Now I'm pretty much won that battle versus the purple player. Now it all comes down to this orange player. Okay, we get to see some action here in naval platforms being built. One platform is about to finish and are going to destroy that one Viking. However, that one Viking will still destroy that naval platform before it finishes, lessening the threat that it can do. Okay, destroying a bunker there would be super nice. Meanwhile, I'm raining rampage on this purple player's shore or coastline, so that I can get, get an advantage in terms of getting rid of the other player, making this a 1v2 for the orange player. There goes. And now, I get to see that, and I'm going to somehow move my Seraphim and the Cerberus in order to clean things up. There it goes. Now, keep in mind, attacking the HQ instead of the supply center and the power plant is a very good idea, since of course, you can only have 3 supply centers on HQ1 if he managed to build an HQ. So he cannot maximize the reconstruction boost as he will. There goes. And now, here goes. Now, of course, Seraphim, or Cerberus rather, will of course go in first due to the speed, and of course, in my opinion, Cerberus is made for tanking, and that's what I'm gonna have him do, tank. Okay. And of course, since he has a good view, or good visual range, we're gonna have to use him to somehow spot things ahead. There goes. And, ooh, that's dangerous. That's like 3 rocket towers. We don't want to dive in there with the Zeus, because my Zeus will instantly vaporize or melt. Okay. And of course, given that, we're gonna stay out of the range of those rocket towers in order for us to clean the rest of the buildings of the purple player, mainly the power plants, to somehow reduce the power of those rocket towers. Okay, nice move. Now I'm producing Delta since the Delta can actually move on land and on water, making the Delta a very, very big candidate, or very good candidate in order to clean things up here, since I only have one vehicle factory to produce a Zeus, and that will take forever for me to do that. So instead, I go for the Delta. And I can also use the Naval Strike Boost to increase the range of the Delta alone, which is very nice. There goes. So this purple player no longer has a power plant. He's going to be forced to use emergency measure boost, but that will not actually give the rocket towers extra range. Now I dived in with the Cerberus first, had him tank the damage of the first rockets, and then have the Zeus strike in and get in there and destroy the towers, making the Cerberus absorb the rockets and of course retreat and have the rest be cleaned up by the Zeus. Okay, my partner's doing pretty good right here, but we noticed that the purple player's army is gone, hence reappearing at the back of my partner's base, which he was not expecting due to lack of scouting above the cliff. Okay, and I think my partner is gonna get owned right here due to lack of defenses. Ooh man, that vehicle factory is so exposed. My partner is deliberately building rocket towers in a bunker and having his naval forces up near his coastline to somehow use naval strike boost in order to defend. Now those Zeus are not microed. Okay, so that's actually a bit bad, but don't blame my partner. It's his first time playing Sandbox, but he's doing very good for a first timer. So kudos to you, my man. That's Bobby, by the way. Okay. Now, we get to travel over to the orange player's base using the Delta, Seraphim, and Cerberus. Oh. Rocket towers over there as well. Very nice defenses here. Okay. Now, we get to see some lag right here and miss micro on my end. There goes, using the Cerberus' skill to move away out of the rocket's range. Of course, avoiding damage, but due to miss micro, I was not able to place my Cerberus on hold, hence he went back and got himself killed. So that's not a very good thing to do there. It's not a very good thing, but still a lesson to learn. Okay, we get to somehow line up our Vikings right there to of course defend ourselves and pin down this orange player in terms of making our forces an animosity, you know. Making him know that I can strike him anytime I want. There goes. And again, using Naval Strike Boost to somehow attack the exposed building that are in range of the Delta. That's why I chose the Delta for this matter alone. There goes. And using the Cerberus, of course, trying to, the Seraphim, of course, to somehow deal some damage over those rocket towers, but there's like an anti-air, and I'm not gonna risk it. Since anti-air of the Confederation deals more damage than that of the Resistance anti-air, so I'm not going to risk it. Instead, I'm going to move elsewhere outside of the range of that anti-air and cause some damage with the Seraphim. There goes. And that avia factory will go down to my Deltas alone. There goes. And then of course Seraphim on air mode will take out that rocket tower and of course destroy the exposed buildings outside the range of the anti-air. Meanwhile, my partner's base is being cleaned up by the forces of the purple player, but the purple player's base is no longer. Seraphim is out yet again. And now we're taking out a power plant in the hopes of unpowering those rocket towers in order for the rest of my army to move in. Now my partner is going to attack him as I instructed, because I thought that the orange player does not have that much on the ocean, but I was wrong. So yeah, sorry for that, Mr. Bobby. Alright, and I'm also going to attack right here, pinning him down, but he actually did, the orange player did very good here with the defense from both sides. I have to give him that. Okay, and let's hope that my partner gets that super container. That will be super nice for his base development in order for him to come back into the game. Okay, again, spamming platforms as this orange player. and the HQ is pretty much exposed, and we're going to abuse our Seraphim and do just what his job, versatility. You know, we're going to use his versatility to attack the HQ that is exposed. Oh ho! And now we get to see the anti-air being used right there, and so we're going to move outside the range of that anti-air. One cell by one cell, we're going to somehow test it out, but of course, keep that HQ within the firing range of my Seraphim. There goes. Manage it. Now the anti-air can no longer fire at my Seraphim, and we take out that HQ and onto the anti-air that is being built. Meanwhile, I'll have the Delta and Seraphim get rid of that rebuilt HQ of the purple player. There goes. Seraphim is low on health. Okay, we get to somehow use another boost for the Seraphim to, of course, regenerate the health that it needs to come back into trashing the orange player's base. Okay, we get to see a bunker right there. That's quite alright. Okay, using gold recovery boost yet again to somehow speed up the process of HP recovery on my Seraphim. Ooh, we get to see a Zeus right there, but a Zeus alone cannot get rid of a badly bruised up Seraphim, and as you guys can see, he already has half HP in just a nick of time. Oh, but we see Typhoons right there. We're gonna have to retreat, keeping the Seraphim alive, and we don't want to go in land mode since the Zeus can deal tons of damage on land mode. But instead, the best choice here would be to move outside the range. My partner is doing good here in terms of repelling the attack of those hammers, at least reducing its number. Meanwhile, I'm going HQ 5 and pinning down the orange player, as well as destroying the rest of the purple player's units. Okay, Vikings from the orange player are cleaning up my partner's base. Good teamwork from the enemy though. You have to give them that. And Cerberus is already here. We're going to have the Cerberus march forward before the Seraphim because Cerberus can tank more than the Seraphim can. So we're going to, of course, use them according to their specialty. Okay. Here goes. Fast forward a bit. We get to see our Seraphim now has good health now. Okay, we got ample amount of defenses on our end, on our bases. So we get to attack yet again using the Cerberus and the Seraphim this time. We're going to use them as a tandem to both tank and deal damage. Here goes. Okay, just using the Cerberus outside the range of that rocket tower. We get to have our base scouted by that one assault. Okay, and of course destroy the Typhoon so that of course to give our Seraphim more mobility. Let's have our Seraphim deal with that bunker. Let's have the Cerberus retreat and have Seraphim deal with that Zeus right there. Okay, maintaining or keeping our Cerberus alive as well as the Seraphim. And there goes. The Zeus is gone, and we're going to have to get rid of that AVF factory. And we see there that the vehicle factory is being upgraded, and of course the HQ is also going HQ 4. Right, and that's not a very good sign. We're going to have to avoid having a Zeus at this orange player's disposal. There goes. Recovering the Cerberus HP while dealing damage to the factory using the Seraphim. Okay, there goes. Moving a bit right there to help out with the damage as we switch targets and have the Cerberus kill the vehicle factory and the Seraphim kill that anti-air to have our Seraphim, you know, given the mobility, or of course maximize its mobility. No more Zeus for you, my friend. Nice job. Okay, we get to target a supply center, and of course the HQ that just turned to HQ 4. We're gonna have to deny that, and of course attack the HQ using the Seraphim and the Cerberus. My partner was asking me to build a vertex or produce a vertex, but that's not going to be possible since it will take me a lot of time to do that. Now we get to see a Typhoon right there. I'm not sure what that is doing, but man, that's bad micro. Okay, using again the skill to somehow, of course, deal damage to the HQ. And again, a line of Vikings right there to, of course, you know, like, let this orange player know that I can attack him on the ocean too. Okay. The Poseidon is over there, trying to, of course, deal damage to our Cerberus and Seraphim. But, of course, we can somehow use the Seraphim to deal damage to other stuff and have the Cerberus tank and destroy that HQ. Now we get to see a Cyclone and an HQ being upgraded using the skill on the Cerberus. And we're going to switch to air mode as there's no anti-air. Okay, there goes, and the air mode, come on! There goes! Just in the nick of time. Okay, now both our heroes are now badly bruised up, of course, and we're going to somehow use the Cerberus again to somehow move away from the range of that Poseidon, and use Seraphim's ability to destroy that HQ. Perfectly nice. Perfectly done. Love it. Now switching to recovery boost yet again to recover the HP. And we're slowly but surely munching on the orange player's base using just the 2 heroes alone. Okay, again, good microcontrol is required in order for a player to pull this stunt off the bat. Okay, there goes again, energy shield activating from our Cerberus, using the Seraphim's ability to, of course, destroy buildings. Ooh, energy run out, or shield run out. We're gonna have to somehow use the skill in order to avoid the missiles from those Poseidons. Okay, so we'll have the Cerberus destroy that Cyclone and Seraphim to destroy the AVF factory. But yet again, the Cerberus will now, of course, jump again in order to avoid that Poseidon's missiles. There goes. Making him jump above the cliff and have Seraphim deal damage since that anti-air of the Poseidon cannot reach the Seraphim's location. So we'll have our Cerberus recover health, and at this point on, the orange player decided to somehow give it up, and of course defeat will be inevitable at the hands of those 2 heroes. Alright, well, my partner managed to make a good comeback, but it's already too late. But still, kudos to you, Bobby, for doing a good job. And there goes. I'm preparing for a space strike as we speak, so there's no longer any need for this to continue.
Victory.
Okay, and so yeah, that concludes tactics of how to use Seraphim, Wasp, Mole, and Cerberus. Now again, if you liked the video, consider subscribing to my channel for more hero updates, and of course smash the like button and leave a comment down below as to what are your thoughts into this video. Likewise, thanks for watching, have a great day and good luck with your battles. Bye now!